We'll begin in 1 minute. Oh, start. Okay, it is 4 p.m., April 1st, 2025. I am calling Iowa City Council special forum meeting in order. Roll call, please.
Alter. Here. Burgess. Here. Harmson.
Here.
Mo.
Here.
Saleh.
Here.
Teague. Wyline. Here.
Before we begin, I would like to take a moment to welcome our newest council members, Oliver Wyline. Oliver, we are very excited to have you here today, and your voice and perspective will be valuable in addition to this term as we continue working to serve our community. Welcome aboard.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay. Item 2A, proposed property tax. Public hearing on the proposed property tax levy in the proposed budget ending June 30th, 2026. I'm going to open the public hearing. And now we will hear from the staff, followed by the council question.
Hello, Nicole Davies, Finance Director. Good evening, Council. So today we have a hearing that is required by state law. I think it was passed 2 years ago now. We're required to have a special meeting just on the proposed property tax levy to take public comment. No action is taken at this meeting. So on the screen is our proposed property tax levy for FY26 and also compared to FY25. So just to note, the total property tax levy is not changing. It is flat from last year. We did slightly adjust the debt service levy and the employee benefits levy, but an offsetting decrease to the employee benefits levy, and then the offsetting increases to the debt service levy. Any questions?
Council, any question? Okay, at this time, I will open it to the public. And if you are here in person and would like to comment on this item, you can come to the podium. And if you are online, please raise your hand. No one here and no one online. Oh, okay. Come over.
Hi, I'm Kay. I'm from Woodbury, and we received our tax notice of
Can you just say your
increase.
full name and sign in to
Sign in?
this? Yes, and your full name, please.
Kay Orchide,
And the city you are from, yeah.
Iowa City.
Good, thank you. Welcome.
I'm a fairly new resident here. We moved here from Minnesota, and we are amazed by our tax, volume here for what we get for our money. And this year we received our notice that increases our value of our house by over $20,000. And our neighbor received one that she moved into her house literally a year ago, and her taxes have gone up by $32,000. $32,000 on the price of her home in 1 year. And ours has gone up by $20,000. Our sister-in-law's gone up by $20,000. And I'm still just amazed by Johnson County's tax burden in this city for what we get. I still have to go to Coralville to go to a Target. I have a mall that's disintegrating called Sycamore Mall with the biggest potholes you can about drive your car into. And, all of the businesses are leaving. Steindler's leaving. ACT is leaving. So I look at the quality of life for a house that I moved into 4 years ago. And I I like to take pride in the city I live in, but Iowa City as compared to places that are growing, like North Memorial, like Tiffin, West Branch, I'm just sort of concerned and asking you as our representatives to look at what this tax burden is getting us and if it's going to continue to draw people. For right now, if I had to make a choice, if I was moving here again, I would not move to Johnson County. I would definitely be looking at another place to live for what my taxes are getting me. I get fire engines, EMTs, good schools. The hospitals would move to North Memorial, all of the shopping malls and things like that. So I'm just asking you as our representatives to be diligent in what we're getting for our money and for the fact that you are raising our taxes on something that is fairly consistent with no new improvements by $20,000 and $20,000 to $32,000 in a year's time. So I would hope you would look at this and be diligent in your spending for what you're asking us to pay. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Hello, I'm Dennis Orchide, and I retired 10 years ago, and we decided to move to Iowa City. And I ran a manufacturing plant. And I don't know how aggressive our procurement gets in Iowa City, but I always had to deal with customers, because I was in custom molding, deal with customers who said, okay, here's your business, but you will give us a 2% reduction in cost next year, 2% the next year, and 1% the next year. I'm just curious how our procurement works in Iowa City. And you might want to publish that. Maybe you do and I'm not aware of it. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comment? I see no one in person and no one online. I will go ahead and close public hearing. And I think this is just to set up the public hearing. There is no discussion. Item number 3, adjourn. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved, Harmson.
Second, Alter.
Moved by Hanson, second by Alter. All in favor?
Aye.
We adjourn. Now, we're going to open the council work session. In item number 1, qualification of agenda item.
Mayor Pro Tem, I wanted to address one of the matters that is set for your formal meeting at 6 o'clock, and that is item 9B, a rezoning at North Governor Street. There has been submitted a valid protest petition, so that will require a supermajority of council to pass. That means 6 votes. That means 6 votes even if only 6 of you are present. And I would further note that the developer has requested a deferral to next meeting so that all 7 councilors can be present. It would be my recommendation that if it is council's will to defer in that way, that you open the public hearing, move to defer right away so that the mayor does not miss, and the mayor who's absent will not miss out in any either the council or the staff presentation or the public's comments about it, instead of doing it only after the public speaks. That would be my recommendation.
Sure. What do you guys think?
I'm agreeable to that.
Then, second item, the idea information package. We can discuss now March 13. Anything in March 13? Okay, move on to March 20. Okay, then March 27, that was easy.
Madam Mayor Pro Tem, just on IP3, and this is maybe something the city manager can just speak to for just a quick moment to let the public know where we are in our process with 21 Southland.
Sure. So at your March 11th work session, you had two presentations. As you recall, the day of the March 11th work session, we received words that two of the three responding proposers to our 21 South Lynn RFP had merged. So on March 11th, we heard the presentation from that merged entity, which was the combination of the Iceberg and Salida proposals. And then you also heard from the third, which is Grand Rail. After that presentation, you asked that staff do analysis on the merged proposal and get back with you. We are still working through that analysis, and we hope to have this item on your April 15th agenda. So what that would look like on April 15th, that would be your work session agenda. That would be me as staff just walking you through our analysis of the two remaining 21 South Lynn proposals, and hopefully giving you the information that you need to begin to work towards the selection of a preferred development team and preferred concept. You don't necessarily have to make that decision on April 15th, but you'll have the benefit of staff's review of both proposals at that time.
Thank you.
Any another item on March 27?
I have one, I believe it's the next one, IP4, on the deer management. There were two pieces that I was wondering if there could be, if there was any follow-up. It notes in there that there is the possibility of one additional professional sharpshoot subject to NRC approval between 2026 and 2029. I wondered, is there any additional detail on that? Like what their, hi Kirk, sorry, I'm like looking at him and you're right there.
Jeff's fine, he could probably answer this one too.
I just wondered if there was additional, what might trigger that agreement. Sorry, I did not mean to make a pun, it's bad. But I was just wondering if there's additional information about that, because I know that there's been quite a bit of damage.
Sure.
And the deer population is growing that bow hunting may not be able to sustain or keep manageable. And then let me just sort of put out in front as well, there was an additional question I had. Oh dear.
You're just full of puns today.
I am, and you know what's horrible is I don't even realize it until like a moment after. How about I'll stop there and let you answer that
that's
question.
fine. Kirk Lehman, Assistant City Manager. With regards to the opportunity for a sharpshoot in 2026, when we first went to the Natural Resources Commission, which is the state board that authorizes bow hunts, or authorizes professional sharpshooting, excuse me. They also authorize bow hunts, but sharpshooting in this case. We initially requested an immediate sharpshoot in 2024, plus the opportunity for a second sharpshoot later, if DNR staff agreed that we weren't seeing the kind of deer control efforts that we needed to with our bow hunt. When we went to the NRC, there is some concern that the numbers that we were providing in terms of the data wasn't, in their eyes, adequate to justify a professional sharpshoot. So they really wanted to see more data and at least 2 more years of data to see if it trended one way or the other. That's really why this report does include enhanced data collection methodologies than what we've done in the past. And we've tried to capture other aspects of how the city interacts with deer populations. So looking at public works picking up deer, not just deer accidents, which aren't always reported to the police. So various things like that are included throughout this report. Also the additional drone survey that we conducted this year, just to look more closely at those areas where we hear the highest level of complaints, which is especially to the north and the east part of Iowa City. In terms of what triggers it between 2026 and 2029, it's really that they told us we have to wait until at least 2026 to request it. Based on the number of complaints that we're getting, the interactions that we are seeing with deer, and our aerial drone survey, we do want to request a sharpshoot basically as soon as we can. We think that the numbers still show a need for it. We believe that that's tied into the same sort of data as in 2024. But so it's really a matter of we have to request it, and then we have to make the case to the NRC that it's justified and makes sense given the circumstances.
Actually, you answered what my question was, which is, could you point out some of those additional tracking methodologies? So thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Happy to answer any more questions.
Another item on 27?
Not really a question, but just a compliment on the report itself. There's a lot of great information there. It's definitely something that'll be very handy because I do get some of those complaints from time to time, and being able to direct residents to some hard data will be very helpful. So thank you.
Okay, I think it's time for our University of Iowa students' government updates.
Sorry, I had one thing on
Oh.
29. It's actually the supplemental, specifically pending work session topics. I was going to propose that we add to our pending work session list something that deals with having either probably our lobbyists come in and explain to us what's happened during this most recent legislative session, just to kind of unpack the changes that impact our ability to do the work we're trying to do. And also, I can imagine it being a two-part step. One is some of the larger questions of what the state government has done, and maybe inclusive of some property tax things. And secondly, maybe have Stephanie or someone from our Civil Rights Office come in and talk about Iowa City's Civil Rights Ordinance and how that still is in force here, and have that as part of a work session topic, but maybe in May.
You mean like something, a monthly thing, or you just mean like one time, or how would that?
I think a legislative update, I think there's been so much happening in the 91st
Just now.
General Assembly
Okay.
that I think, and we're nearing second funnel, what, April 4?
I believe
Things,
that's right.
yeah.
Yeah, so if you guys are
That's
agreeable to
good.
that, I'm not sure the timing exactly, if we want to wait for the complete session to be done or
I mean, I think waiting for the complete session to be done makes sense, but then, yeah.
immediately thereafter.
Yeah, that's what I asked. Do we wait or now? Yeah.
So if you'd like the lobbyists to come and present to you, they are out of Des Moines, so they would prefer to wait until post-session. And typically, I think we've done this in the past one or two times, they're going to want to wait until the governor has fully decided on whether she is going to sign all the bills.
Yeah.
So that can take several weeks after the session for that process to work out. So I think the last day the legislators receive per diem is sometime in early May, which is usually a good sign that things will be wrapping up soon. So I would suggest, if you want the lobbyists to present, June-ish would probably be a good target.
Yep.
I think that makes sense. What do you guys think? That's okay?
Great idea.
Okay.
I mean, that's kind of like a tactic that they use, just like drop so much at once so you don't understand all the stuff that's happening, and then we just need to understand so we can.
Okay, sound good. Any another?
And just clarification, just so I record it correctly, this will be listed as two separate work sessions, a post-session legislative discussion or wrap-up, and then a second work session on our human rights ordinance. Okay.
Yes. Okay, before we go to the USG,
That was it, thanks.
any another comment? Okay, now USG update.
Okay, hello everyone. Oliver, welcome to your first council session. I just have a couple announcements today. Tonight is our last Senate session for the 24-25 administration for USG. Voting is currently live. Voting ends on Thursday evening, so by the weekend we'll have our results of who our president, vice president is, and who makes up our Senate. I actually just had a really exciting meeting with our university student legal services right before this in regards to our renter's guide survey. Basically, we wanted to get their feedback on if they thought our questions we were asking were relevant and good, what we could change if they had any advice, but mainly what we wanted to do is I wanted to put together a sort of questionnaire that students can ask themselves, their roommates, and their landlords and current and former tenants of where they might be moving to ahead of signing their leases, so that we can maybe help to avoid some of the reoccurring legal issues that our services see. So for example, I think some of the things they see the most are like wanting to end leases early, maintenance issues, disputing charges and fees. We want to see if there are any questions or things students can be aware of in advance to kind of avoid getting into situations like this. So that'll hopefully be a really big part of our upcoming lease gap survey launch. And I'm pretty sure that is all I have for you guys right now. Everything's kind of winding down on the USG side for this administration. And so we will be out of session for 2 weeks until everyone gets sworn in and things like that.
Can I ask a question? This is embarrassing to me. It's
That's
been
okay.
so long since I've been in the university system. In terms of electing your officers, is it like popular vote, is it all university, or is it actually sort of like the situation that we have where it's from within the Senate and you elect your officers?
No, it used to be like that back when we had representatives by each specific school, but now the whole student body votes for president, vice president. Yeah, it's all at large. We do have constituency senators, but they are selected from specifically within their own, whether it's a house or an organization, that's how our constituency senators are elected.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, now we're gonna turn it to Josh Schamberger to update us about Think Iowa.
Good afternoon, everyone.
After.
Well, you can see that. If not, maybe Jeff will dim the lights just a bit. Welcome, Oliver. I appreciate the opportunity. My name's Josh Schamberger. I know, obviously, many of you and work with you. Jeff, it's starting back up, so maybe I should go to PowerPoint on that thing, or? Yeah, maybe it'll stop. Anyhow, Josh Schamberger, Think Iowa City and the Iowa City Area Sports Commission. We're the destination marketing organization for this community, and so I wanted to take some time to kind of talk you through our recent finishing year, 2024. You should have a hard copy of our annual report. I gave it to Jeff, so hopefully he's passed that around. If not, that's being passed around at the moment. But I'd like to run you through just a little recap of the year and then be happy to answer any questions about what we're up to or the things we're kind of focused on in the coming year, 2025. So our opening slide here is an event we just recently finished off. We've kind of turned, well, we've been, our sports commission team has been pretty successful in turning the University of Iowa swimming facility here, the Wellness Center, into the home of a lot of other college conferences for their championships. So this was the Summit League, which has schools from around the Midwest, and this is actually, I believe, the University of Denver, who were here for about 6 days and won the Summit League championships this year. We've also hosted and will be hosting the MVC Conference Swimming and Diving Championships as well. So we've been pretty successful in bringing a lot of other visitors in swimming and diving to the community. Just a little bit of history for those of you that need it, and a little bit of reminder as to our organization. We exist to advance the economic vitality and quality of life for visitors, residents and visitors as Iowa's premier destination. That's our mission, simple and sweet. Our structure is we were formed in 1979, as were many convention and visitors bureaus back in that time. Once cities successfully passed a hotel motel tax referendum and started collecting taxes on visitors that stayed in hotel rooms, organizations like ours kind of moved out of the house and became an adult and had their own organization. And that's exactly what happened here in Iowa City and Coralville, with Iowa City and Coralville both passing hotel motel tax referendums in that year, and us officially becoming an organization in early 1984. Hotel motel tax is just as it's described. Its taxes collected are in hotel room stays, so paid solely by visitors. It's capped at 7%, which is the maximum allowable under state law. And the state law requires that 50% of those collections be spent on tourism related issues. So that's where I'll get into it. Some of it comes to us, some of it goes to Julie in Parks and Rec, and that kind of checks the standard on the 50%. The balance of which cities can do whatever they so please with it. In Iowa City, a good chunk of it has, since day one in passing back in the 1980s, has gone to support the police department. We formed a sports commission in 2016, and that was officially registered in 2018 as a standalone organization. So we represent two organizations, Think Iowa City and the Iowa City Area Sports Commission. Our total operating budget for this fiscal year, which represents Iowa City, Coralville, North Liberty, and University Heights, is about $2.3 million. 46% of that is derived directly from hotel motel tax collections in the entire community. 19% from partnership, and 35% is from program revenue that we develop through our own initiatives and events. This is a history over the last 10 years of hotel motel tax collections in the community. The blue chart there is representing Coralville. The gold is Iowa City. North Liberty only has one hotel. It's out there off Exit 4, so it's very, very small. sleep-in and suites. And University Heights also has one hotel, but it is in a great location and a terrific flag. So you can see the kind of the difference between the Courtyard by Marriott and the sleep-in and suites in terms of rate and revenue. Iowa City, I believe these are still correct. I should have double-checked, just not in his head. So 47.5% of the revenue goes to the police department, 27.5% to Parks and Rec. We received 23% because in 2017 there was this council at that time and city manager put in a rebate of hotel motel tax collections for 12 years, kind of like a hotel motel tax TIF, to develop the Hilton Garden Inn and Element properties. And that remains in effect through 2029. 2029. So we're in year 8 of that. And in Coralville, University Heights, and North Liberty, we receive 25%. The rest goes as kind of described there, with the way those cities treat that. Our board of directors, currently chaired by Mitch Gross. I know many of you know him. He used to be on the Coralville Council, and he's currently our school district liaison. We're proud to have, our bylaws require the mayor of Iowa City to always be on our board. So Bruce is very involved in our organization, representing the city of Iowa City. But it's mostly made up of hoteliers and folks that are in the industry of tourism in our community. We do have a county representative, but it's non-voting because the county doesn't have a hotel and it doesn't make an investment through hotel motel tax dollars. So it's currently Rod. We have a great team. I know you know many of them. They work very closely, particularly with Julie's team and others. And Monica Nieves Hirsch is here today, a very proud City of Iowa City resident and City High grad. We hear about it all the time. But she's our VP of Marketing and Communications and has been with us as of 2 days ago for 8 years now. We just celebrated her 8-year anniversary. A little bit of visitors. So visitors' impact is quite significant in Johnson County, and these are big-time numbers, but they are assessed every year through the Iowa Economic Development Authority and an independent consultant agency that they partner with. Last year, about $684 million were spent on goods and services by people who don't reside in Johnson County, through the year. Just short of $100 million in local and state taxes was paid by visitors to this community. And total hotel motel tax across Iowa City, Coralville, North Liberty, and University Heights was just over $6 million. For every $1 that was invested from that 25% in the other cities and the 23% in Iowa City, our staff brought a return of $31.62 to Coralville, Iowa City, and the larger community. And that's just from conferences and sports sales efforts. And you might think, well, how do we know that? Well, we know that because you can kind of see if you squint your eyes a little bit, and we'll be happy to give you handouts. But every single one of these organizations, whether it be from the Sports Commission or Think Iowa City, conferences and meetings, all were booked and brought to this community from our team. And every one of those, we know the contracted hotel rates, we know what they spent in food and beverage, we know how long they were here, we know how many people attended their groups. And all of those we work into our formula and our algorithm with our organization, Destinations International, and it spits out exactly what they spent while they were in the community. We've also partnered with the School of Urban and Regional Planning here at Iowa at times to develop a survey where we actually measure larger events, like when we brought the World Cup here and had 19 countries from all over the world, Ukrainian women, Georgian men's team, all of them, Republic of Georgia. And so we assess those and look at those in greater detail. This is the market segmentation that we spend all of our time and energy on as an organization. It's based in individual and group leisure, so a lot of advertising, trying to convince folks in Des Moines, even Cedar Rapids at times, Madison, Peoria, Rockford, a lot of these communities to come spend a weekend in our community, particularly on festivals, and we do a lot of advertising. Monica can speak to this in great detail through a lot of different sources, Placer and other tools that we use to kind of investigate our markets and then really ramp up advertising when we know we're about to hit Arts Fest weekend or in a couple months away or things like that. So that's really what individual and group leisure is all about. Conferences and meetings, very easy to understand. We go after conferences and meetings and spend a lot of time and money and effort to land all of those events. Stacy was just in town. The mayor participated, I believe Jeff. Just a couple weeks ago, we had a huge group in town that we're dating right now to try to get here. And if we're successful, it's in a partnership with the College of Law. It would mean for downtown Iowa City about 12,000 room nights over 3 years. So a significant piece of business. So we do that pretty much all day long. Likewise, we do that all day long in sports. We're selling very hard. This is a destination for amateur sports, and we'll get into that here in just a second. Special events. We spend a lot of time and energy looking at what we call a need date calendar. So we look at the entire year through some of our sources, and we find out the soft weekends for hotels and where we can create something. Way back in the day, we were the organization that created the One Book, Two Book Festival for the UNESCO City of Literature to try to do something like that in February and ramp up. And there's a number of those examples that we do. FryFest started like that to try to turn in a non-conference football game weekend into something that would look like a conference football and bring in more hotel rooms, things like that. So, and then quality of life. A lot of time in quality of life, a lot of efforts in quality of life, community building, something we've gotten far more involved in the last probably 5 to 10 years than we did in the first 30 or 35 years of our life. We were all about conferences and meetings and visitors, but we've understood that we need to play a significant role in community betterment and quality of life. And so that's why you see our organization as being one of the founders of Better Together 2030, and me being the chair of that board and those sorts of efforts. So it's, in short there, we bring people together by leading organizations across an area that no other entity can, functioning as a hub for local activity for all kinds, and promoting cooperation and collaboration over competition. So you can probably already read the rest of that while I was talking here. So the 3 buckets that we spend all of our time and energy are innovative sales and marketing, intentional community engagement, and authentic placemaking. That's kind of our 3-legged stool for how we go about operating and executing our business plan. In innovative sales and marketing, last year really demonstrated a bounce back year for conferences and meetings. It was, out of all the visitor markets, it was the one that took the longest to come back from COVID. And that is organizations that decided to travel, to send people to travel for conferences and meetings. And so last year, we serviced 56 different groups that brought in just over 80,000 people. Those 80,000 people spent just over $22 million in our community before they left. We also, during that same time and through 2025, so in the past 3 months, we've attended 6 trade shows that represented 254 individual planner organizations. And through those meetings, we've already secured 36 future conferences and meetings. Those groups will bring 47,000 future visitors and just short of 23,000 room nights, and about $19.6 million in future direct spending. So that's in the first 7 months of this fiscal year. Monica can speak to this one in great detail because it was also a pretty significant year and bounce back for digital marketing engagement. Unlike 15 years ago when you had to pick up the phone or stop by our welcome center and really ask us, like, hey, where can I get good sushi in your town? Well, you don't have to do that anymore. You just pick up your phone and ask Siri, where's the best sushi, within 10 minutes of me. So we had to continue to stay relevant, and so we try to do that through, obviously, strong social media platforms, and we've been successful in continuing to move in that area. Authentic placemaking would be that second bucket, and some of the nodal programs that we spent a lot of time and energy and efforts are in 2024, including the continuation of our community grant program and expansion of that. We give out about $50,000 a year to organizations in just this bucket for community grants. You can see several of them listed there. There's quite a few of them, obviously, are rooted in Iowa City, particularly in the arts and culture community. We invest pretty heavily in the arts. I think last year it was about $170,000 in total between this and some of our other funds. North Liberty Centennial Park was a huge hit project. We worked with the city of North Liberty on last year. We co-authored the grant that got them the $900,000 CAT grant from the state. Nick Pfeiffer on our team, who heads up our public affairs, worked on that with Nick Burgess and Jillian, and they did a terrific job as a team and great success there. That is a really great opportunity for the future because I know they already continue to have discussions through Nick's connection with the Englert and programming, entertainment, and opportunities on that North Liberty stage through downtown and the Englert efforts. Spent a lot of time, obviously, in South of Six. Angie Jordan actually now works on our team, which is fantastic. We love having her, and she's been, one of the biggest champions of this community, not just South of Six. And spend a lot of time and energy with Betsy and her team with Downtown District, which in many ways are a bit of a microcosm of what we do just for this geographic footprint. Our River Landing, still very involved in that. And then recently, it won't be announced until June because we want to make sure we don't run afoul with anything that happens in Des Moines right now. But we worked with the city of University Heights and have finished off a multi-use trail plan for the section of woods there that sits to the north of the University Heights neighborhoods, and tying that into the University and Iowa City trail systems. So we'll unveil that in June at their meeting. Authentic placemaking. So Pat Hayden and I were very proud to spend the last year and a half co-chairing the campaign to renew the Johnson County Conservation Bond, something very important to the city of Iowa City, Coralville as well. Nick Pfeiffer and our team, who I mentioned, was the campaign manager, and just super proud and honored to have assisted with that. And it's going to pay dividends for years to come for not just Iowa City, but the entire community. So it was quite a success and quite a team, and obviously Julie and many others at the city of Iowa City played a really big part in this. Intentional community engagement. One of the things we learned is that there's not enough local awareness or understanding of what we do. And 10 years ago, I would have said, that's fine. People don't need to know what we do as long as the councils know what we do. But that was really the wrong way to look at it, because when people do know what we do, they start calling and they go, hey, I've got an idea for a group that I could bring to town, or a festival, or things like that. And so, while it's not critical, we're top of mind. We are, after all, an organization that's charged with growing visitor taxes, so you have to stay in hotel rooms to create this revenue source. We are working to kind of continue to strengthen that connector role. So again, we kind of co-chaired along with Nancy and Kate and President Barb at the time the whole process to create the All-In Vision Plan, and we're super proud of that. That's why we led the conservation bond, because we've taken ownership of Pillar 1, which is Champions of the Natural Environment, and it's been terrific work. We still got a lot of work ahead of us, but I'm proud to say that organization many of you are part of is continuing to move the needle every day, thanks in large part to the rock star that is Katie Gerlach and everything that she continues to do for us. You all saw Herkies all over town last year. That was our baby. We had a great time doing it. I'm glad it's only every 10 years because it is a heck of a lot of work. But in the end, it's full circle. We raised about $95,000 in cash and revenue, and we donated all of that back to the 3 school districts. We presented checks to the Iowa City School District, Clear Creek, and Manna, and we sent a smaller check up to Solon. We expanded to Solon and Tiffin this year with that program. That's the 3rd time we've done it, 04, 14, and 2024, and I won't be here in 2034, so somebody else will get to pick all those up and move them around town. But it is a community. Thousands of people come to see that. I mean, literally thousands. And they get their map and they go check off every 101 of them that we had all over the town. So ARPA grant recipients. This is another thing that, if you recall, many of you were on the council at the time, but with ARPA and after COVID, the city of Iowa City and Jeff, as a way to kind of take a little slice off of ARPA, which is about $120,000, I believe, said, hey, here's some money to kind of backfill all the lost hotel motel tax, because obviously nobody, during COVID, it went to like 10% occupancy. And if your organization can create a committee and board to kind of develop some parameters by which we can grant and fuel and reignite sort of the festivals, events, conferences, things like that, let's do that. And so we've been really deliberate about doing that and spreading that money out. We have about $33,000 left to spend through 26, but these are just a few of the festivals that we were largely made possible because of the support that Iowa City relayed through us through these different festivals The brand new, I think it was the Rockstar Festival last year. Sunday's African Folk Art and Festival was the coolest festival ever. I mean, he showed up in my office like 5 weeks before it was going to happen. He's like, I've got this idea. And I'm like, you're crazy. That's 5 weeks from now. And sure enough, he pulled it off. So we're excited to see year 2 of that. Monica and I just met with him a couple weeks ago, and it was they've got even bigger plans. So I think it'll be fantastic. Here's just a couple things on the Sports Commission, our other organization. So you may not know, again, we need to make sure people are aware, but we're the organization that funds, fuels, started Bike Iowa City. So we independently contract with Liz Hubing, who's a good partner of ours. She lives it, breathes it, eats it like me. Cycling in this community, Monday night gravel rides from Jeff's area. And so all these organizations bike. We spend a lot of time. I'm actually meeting tomorrow night with the Bike Library, Iowa City Bike Library, about a new fundraiser that we're going to do in June for that organization. We're excited and proud to kind of lead that, and we know how big of a cycling destination community that we have here in Iowa City. We are now home to 9 girls and boys high school state tournaments, which is significant. It's so significant that we're getting a little political pushback, as you might imagine, of why all these tournaments are coming to Iowa City and Coralville. It is what it is with that on the political side, but we do a great job, and our team does a great job, and we're happy to have them. So the most recent win is something we've worked on for several years now, and starting this November, Iowa City will be home to the Girls State Swimming and Diving Championships for the next 5 years. So it'll be a significant piece of business. It's the exact week after the Girls State Volleyball Tournament, so I don't know how much excited the team is for that, but it's going to be what it's going to be. They'll pack up all the pink from the Iowa River Landing, and they'll come set it up in downtown Iowa City. So it'll go from volleyball to Girls State Swimming and Diving, which will be significant for the downtown area. We also secure the Regional Sports Authority District through the state every year, and then we turn around and spend that money on a number of organizations in this town, primarily sports-related. They have to be sports-related, but they're all over from archery to dance. This is an event we just hosted 3 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago that put us on a city lineup card with New York, Chicago, Iowa City, this Universal Ballet competition that took place. So there are a number of these organizations that receive funds anywhere from, $3,000, $3,000, some of them up to $8,000, $10,000 in support to have their tournaments here in Iowa City, Coralville, and North Liberty. These are some notable wins from last year. The top 2 photos are pretty cool because we just hosted last weekend. We had 100 basketball teams here from 5 states. In fact, 104 basketball teams here. They were all middle school teams, and we hosted the Iowa State Championships for middle schools, and these are a couple of the state championship teams that won trophies. But we used every basketball court in town. The only ones we didn't use were the ones at the arena in Coralville because they were booked with something else, with a volleyball tournament. But from West High to City High to North Liberty, every court had these junior high, middle school kids on it. So where they want to come back, and so they've already asked us to store all their stuff. So that's always a good sign that they want to sign again next year. Then you could see just some of the other ones that we booked, some of those other conferences, Missouri Valley, Summit League, State Golf. We secured the 3A and 4A State Golf Championships. Will be here in Iowa City later this year. And then the bottom one's got an asterisk on it because it's not signed contract yet, but we're finalizing hopefully this weekend a bid for Iowa City to be home for the Pan American Games for wrestling next May, which will be significant. This year it's in Monterrey, Mexico, and 2 years from now it's Canada, but it's the United States' turn to host. And as long as we can welcome the visitors to Iowa, they'll be here and they'll be wrestling from all over North and South America. We spend a lot of time in this bucket too. I don't want to get into it a lot because I'm going as fast as I can on this annual review, but a lot of time with the airport. We continue to play a role and lead the Great Places initiatives for Iowa City, Coralville, and North Liberty. Obviously, the continued investigation of rail. I think there's a meeting tomorrow and checking in on that. And I-Corps, we big sponsor of them for developing all the single track and other cycling opportunities here in our community. These last two slides are just as important as everything we do professionally. I love this quote, by Churchill, we make a living by what we get, and we make a life by what we give. And the thing I'm most proud about with our team is, it's not even something that needs to be said. They join our team because they're passionate about this community, and so they get involved in everything in this community. And I know Josh knows Monica real well, and many of you do, and she can tell you just as many things that she's involved in this community that don't pay her. And that's how everybody on our team is. So it's just how we're wired, and we know the community we live in is also the one, and working is the one we serve. That's as fast as I could go on that, Jeff. So I'm happy to answer questions about any of those efforts or anything more we can continue to do to support Iowa City and the return on the pass-through of hotel motel tax.
Well, I was going to circle back to the conservation bond passage and say thanks for your guys' work on that. It was a huge win, 77, 78.
1% better than Ames.
And I think if you zoomed in even closer to Iowa City, like it was even more than, it was in the 80s, wasn't it? I mean,
100%.
Which is, we so rarely get such clear signals that we're all behind something, and obviously conservation is one of those things. So what's Think Iowa City's engagement in the usage of those funds and planning of using those funds? And I'm really specifically interested in the Iowa River, and that you had the pedal paddle screen up there. What's next for that? How do we move that forward? It's in our strategic plan. So an action item for us is to really invest. What's next for us and for you?
Yep. Well, Josh, Jeff actually took the lead and organized a meeting that took place about 2 weeks ago that brought in the university because the university weren't part of the pedal paddle. That was developed when Destination Iowa funds became available, and then the folks that were reviewing it realized our application was from Johnson County, so it didn't quite score the best, unfortunately, for that particular program. But Jeff's been pretty particular about keeping that alive, and everything that was listed in that sort of master plan along the Iowa River. So we just met 2 weeks ago. Joe Bellata was deeply involved from the University of Iowa, as was Rod Lennertz was there, and we're in the process right now of shoring that up and then prioritizing amongst the cities which one are the closest to being actionable at this point, and then finding out which one of those aligns with Brad Friedoff and the conservation group that will determine how those will be funded and which ones align with those Johnson County Conservation Bond funds. Sure. So that's where we're at with that. I don't know, Jeff, you want to add any more? You kind of pulled that together.
Yeah, and just for the council's awareness, Kirk Lehman, Assistant City Manager, that spoke to you about our deer. When he's not working on deer, he's going to be working on the Iowa River Plan. So we're excited to lead that. And as Councilor Moon noted, that is in your strategic plan. But a lot of stars aligning. The university's going through their campus planning right now, the conservation bond, the fact that the Think Iowa City team's leading the pillar one of the Better Together plan. The time is right to take a good look at the river and what we can be doing. So we're already started there.
So whitewater deer hunting is something we should look for?
Yeah.
Any other questions to Josh?
One more. As you guys are competing for events to happen in Iowa City, and you miss some, obviously, they don't choose Iowa City, what are the reasons they're not choosing Iowa City? What amenities or qualities are we lacking?
Really only hotel rate and availability. I mean, we've been, you'd be surprised at how many people, Julie just had the State Parks and Rec Association conference here, and they had great attendance. There's so many organizations that want to meet here because they truly enjoy the qualities, the amenities, the restaurants of Iowa City. So where we get stacked up right now, and we've actually been looking at it pretty hard, is looking at that need date calendar and not finding many holes to where we can, so we have to pass on opportunities, and now we're starting to weight business against other business. And to show you how full it is, we have a group, the Jehovah's Witnesses, that came in and found a whole weekend on July 4th weekend and are bringing 3,000 hotel room nights because they want to meet on July 4th because they know they can get available space. And so all of those holes in the air are starting to fill, and we've just got a great sales team. So there isn't anything that there's certainly some groups that for political reasons or others, they don't consider us to bid, and quite honestly, we're okay with that.
Question? Thank you so much. This is great.
Yeah,
I
thank you,
learned a
Vanessa.
lot myself. Thanks.
Yep.
Okay, the last item on our agenda is council update on assigned board, commission, or committee. Anyone met or did anything? No, ma'am. Okay, if none, we adjourn. Thank you. We're going to start in 1 minute.
I always have this impulse to say, thank you, 1 minute. Not necessary. Thanks, 1 minute.
Okay, thanks.
In the theater, right? Thanks, 1
That's
minute.
what's happening. Okay, it is 6 o'clock, and I'm calling the Iowa City Council formal meeting in order. Roll call, please.
Alter. Here. Burgess. Here. Harmson.
Here.
Mo.
Here.
Saleh.
Here.
Teague. Wyline.
Here.
Okay, second item that is proclamation, and now we have 2A, Food Waste Prevention Week. I will be reading that. Okay, whereas according to the Iowa Department of Natural Resources 2022 Iowa Material Characterization Study, approximately 20% of material disposed in the Iowa City landfill are food waste items. And whereas landfill food waste produce methane and bottom greenhouse gas, and whereas food waste reductions ensure the water, energy, and land resources required to produce food are not waste. Whereas efforts to save quality food from being waste support local system to feed community members in needs. And whereas the city of Iowa City promote environmental sustainability through reducing food waste and the resources at the source. Now, therefore, I am Zahir Saleh, the Mayor Pro Tem, in behalf of Breeze Teague, Mayor of Iowa City, Iowa, hereby proclaim the week of April 7 to 13, 2025 as Food Waste Prevention Week in Iowa City, and urge Iowa community members to recognize the importance of reducing food waste to strengthen our Iowa City community and to reduce climate impact. Here to accept is Jason Harbel, our city engineering.
Good evening, Council. Unfortunately, our resource management staff aren't able to be here tonight, so I'm going to do my best to fill in for them and highlight some of the important work that they do. My name is Jason Hobble, City Engineer, and on behalf of the Resource Management Division, I want to thank you for this proclamation. These staff members work hard to highlight the importance of food waste prevention and its benefits to our community. This includes outreach and education, as well as great local partnerships to increase awareness. One example of these partnerships is the program with Table to Table called Love Food, Fight Waste. This program offers resources ranging from videos for household food waste prevention to ways to volunteer in the local food rescue system, and all of this information can be found on the city's website. These efforts, along with composting, all make meaningful impact on what ends up or doesn't in the landfill. And so, again, I want to thank you for your support of this proclamation and the city's efforts to reduce food waste in our community. Thank you.
The second proclamation will be National Crime Victims' Rights Week, and this will be read by Council Burgess.
Whereas crime affects individuals, families, and communities in profound and varied ways, often leaving lasting physical, emotional, and social challenges. And whereas the concept of kinship underscores the connections that build bridges to support, services, and shared strength among survivors, advocates, and communities. And whereas kinship is the foundation of victim advocacy, inspiring trauma-informed care that meets survivors where they are. And whereas, through kinship, we build peer networks and community alliances that empower survivors, foster resilience, and offer pathways to healing. And whereas, kinship reminds us of the strength that comes from connection, the importance of listening to every voice, and the power we have to create lasting change when we work together. Now, therefore, I, on behalf of Mayor Bruce Teague of Iowa City, do hereby proclaim the week of April 6th through 12th, 2025, to be National Crime Victims' Rights Week in Iowa City. This proclamation reaffirms our dedication to building connections, standing in kinship with survivors, and creating a future where healing and hope are within reach for everyone.
We have no one to accept that. So we go to the next one, National Library Week. And this will be read by our newer, and I would like to welcome Oliver to the council, and I think he will be great add to our city. I forget to do this in the beginning, sorry.
Thank you. This is for National Library Week. Whereas libraries serve as a vital hub for connection, learning, and exploration, and are dedicated to ensuring equitable access to information and services for all community members, regardless of race, ethnicity, creed, ability, sexual orientation, gender identity, or socioeconomic status. And whereas libraries prioritize privacy, defend the right to read freely, champion intellectual freedom, and serve as cornerstones of democracy, promoting the free exchange of information and ideas for all. And whereas libraries provide free and equitable access to books, are accessible and inclusive places that promote a sense of local connection, advancing understanding, civic engagement, and shared community goals while preserving our collective heritage and knowledge, safeguarding both physical and digital resources for present and future generations. And whereas libraries play a pivotal role in economic development by providing resources and support for job seekers, entrepreneurs, and small businesses, thus contributing to local prosperity and growth. And whereas Iowa City Public Library is a center of community life that accepts people of all ages with information, engages them with the world of ideas and with each other, and enriches our community by supporting learning, promoting literacy, and encouraging creativity. And whereas an Iowan authored the Library Bill of Rights. Iowa has more public libraries per capita than any other state in the nation, and over 74% of Iowans own at least one library card. And whereas libraries, librarians, and library workers are joining library supporters and advocates across the nation to celebrate National Library Week. So now, therefore, I, on behalf of Bruce Teague, Mayor of Iowa City, do hereby proclaim April 6th through April 12th, 2025 to be National Library Week, and encourage all residents to visit the Iowa City Public Library and celebrate the access and opportunities provided by ICPL services and programming.
Accept.
Oh. And here to accept this proclamation is Angela Pilkington. So give it up again.
Hi, thank you guys so much for this honor. I am Angie Pilkington, and I have had the pleasure of serving as a Children's Services Coordinator for the City of Iowa City for the last decade. And those that know me know that I think every day is National Library Day, so thank you. And we do encourage everyone to come. In the last year, we had over 1.2 million books checked out from your local library and over 500,000 visitors to our site just up the road. So thank you again for this proclamation. The Iowa City Public Library is honored to be recognized during National Library Week, as libraries are essential to thriving communities. We serve as spaces where everyone can explore ideas, ask questions, and access information freely. We support literacy at every stage of life and ensure that every person, regardless of background, can find the resources to learn, grow, and connect with the world around them. We are proud to safeguard intellectual freedom and provide a welcoming space that promotes curiosity, creativity, and lifelong learning. Thank you guys so much for your support every day.
Thank you.
Okay. Item number 3, consent calendar. Approve of the consent calendar. May I have a motion to approve consent calendar item 3 through 7.
Mayor Pro Tem, I would like to pull off item 6E if we could, before we approve the rest of the consent agenda.
Yeah, I just, I think if the item is, we are not going to vote for it,
Oh.
so we can discuss it while we are,
okay.
you can
That'll
discuss
work.
it as an item.
That sounds good.
Okay, thank
Right.
you.
That sounds good.
Yeah, may I have a motion to approve item 3 to 7?
So moved, Mo.
Second, Harmson.
Moved by Mo, second by Hanson. All in public discussion. Council discussion.
Yeah, item 6E, the Assistance to Develop an Affordable Housing Pilot Project. I'd like to get a little bit more information on that. I think the staff memo is wonderful, but also just a better understanding of timeline and costs would be real helpful.
Rachel Carter from our Housing Authority can give you an overview and answer any questions.
Yeah, welcome, Richard.
Hi, I'm Rachel Carter. I'm the Housing Administrator in the Housing Authority. This resolution is simply approving our procurement of a consultant to help us with a couple different items in neighborhood and development services. The first of which is they'll help us essentially develop a strategic plan and a staffing plan and looking at legal, organizational structure, our financial capacity, what we're doing long-term to essentially develop a development arm of the Housing Authority, establish a development arm of the Housing Authority. I think that most of you know that we own and manage 116 properties currently. 110 of those are run as affordable housing units in some way, whether that's through public housing in the federal government or some home funds, and then some locally funded projects that we run as affordable housing. And as we continue to grow in our mission of providing affordable housing, we're really seeing the need to have some assistance in figuring out what our strategic plan going forward is and how we do that sustainably. So that's the first service that this consultant will provide. And secondly, this consultant is going to serve as our advisor and essentially our developer in helping us with the development project that we wrote we would complete in our pro-housing grant that we were awarded last summer. So they will help us develop through construction, design, and closeout of that project. We're anticipating 18 to 36 affordable rental housing units in that project. And they're going to help us learn how to do that. So we're more prepared to do that going forward. We continue to see that the need for affordable rental housing here is growing. We have over 1,000 households on our Housing Choice Voucher Program waitlist living or working in our jurisdiction that need subsidized and affordable rental housing. And there are few organizations who are doing this, so we see our role expanding in doing this, and we are looking for a consultant to help us do that sustainably and efficiently.
And so this consultant will come on board shortly. Is it a year-long process, or when will the fiscal impact that would come to council, when would that happen?
Sure. Well, all the funds provided in this contract are through our pro-housing grant,
Sure.
so we've been awarded them from HUD. And the part of it helping us develop an arm of the Housing Authority for housing development, they have a pretty tight timeline. They say 6 to 9 months approximately for that, and giving us a strategic plan and how we continue to grow and what that growth looks like. The Affordable Housing Pilot Project, we anticipate expending it by the end of our pro-housing. Our pro-housing grant needs to be spent out by September of 2029, I believe, which means we'll be working robustly in developing and spending that money from now until then.
But I wasn't clear with my question. The pilot program, that consultant will be done, and we'll know by next budget cycle how many more staff members or city dollars would need to be allocated to actually act as developer? Is that possible?
Yes.
Okay.
I think that we should know by then what that looks like as far as staffing and growth ratios.
Great. Thanks.
My own ignorance, so genuine question. Is the process of choosing a consultant the same as when we put an RFP out for construction? So we have to take the low bid, or were there multiple applicants and you got to select? And if so, can you talk a little bit about what struck you with this consultant and their experience?
Yeah, it was, we put an RFP out for it, and we received 3 responses, I believe. We also had the opportunity to interview all the consultants. given their experience. We checked references. The specific consultant that we chose has a really strong national reputation. We've spoken to several housing authorities who have used them in establishing a development wing. They're well-versed. I think that many of you are aware that we recently entered into an agreement with a consultant for our public housing repositioning, and both of these RFPs were out concurrently, and we chose different consultants for the two projects, and they both speak really highly of each other, which is a positive reference, and there seem to be a lot of opportunities for those two services to work together. So we were able to interview, we checked references, and how they scored in our interview scores was reflected greatly in how we chose.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion?
I guess I would just like to make a comment about this, and I just wanted to thank the staff and the counselors and everybody for getting us to this point, because I think this is such a hugely needed part in not only our community, but so many communities that are, we talk so much about affordable housing. I've heard people talk about affordable housing in Iowa City for 30 years as in, it's getting out of control, and so I think that this is a way that we can really get to the root cause of the problem. Community development, like what it means to democratize housing, and how we can use like this community development wing to get in the business of building and managing properties, and making sure that we have permanent affordability in a way that can be financially beneficial to the city. So I just wanted to say thank you to everybody for getting us to this point.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay. Any other discussion?
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is exciting.
Okay. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Alter,
Yes.
Burgess,
Yes.
Harmson,
Yes.
Mo,
Yes.
Salah,
Yes.
Wyline.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes 6-6.
6-0, yeah.
6-0. I'm on
Pardon my procedural ignorance, everybody, but we just voted for the entire consent agenda?
Yes.
Yes, okay, so we can't go back and comment on anything else at this point? No?
No, I'm afraid
Okay.
not. There will be a later time at the end of the agenda that council members have an opportunity
Okay.
to comment. You
Oh,
could
you
do
was
so
having
if you
something.
wish.
Sorry.
No, that's okay, thank you.
That fast. Yeah. Okay, now I'm turning, I think, to public comment. Item number 8, community comment. And this is only in-person comment will be allowed for community comment. Public comment for specific agenda items, which must be directly related to the agenda item, may be made in person or remote, but for the public comment, only in person. So if you want to do public comment, you can just come forward to the podium. Please sign your name and state your name and the city you are from.
Good evening, Council. My name is Dan Cobble, and I live by the VA. I'm here tonight to talk about the University of Iowa Police Department. Specifically, I'm here to discuss the ways that the Iowa City Police Department helps UIPD quash legitimate criticism of the numerous ways UIPD has persecuted Iowa City's queer and trans communities. Almost a year ago, I stood before this board to talk about how ICPD seized my cell phone in relation to an investigation about a Twitter account parodying a UIPD detective who has a proven history of transphobia. This history is best exemplified by the fact that he filed charges against trans individuals for blocking traffic, while not filing charges against cisgender protesters for blocking those same cars. It should be noted that some of those non-trans protesters were unmasked and known to this were known to this UIPD detective. It should also be noted that nobody looking through the parody account's timeline would believe it was anything but satire. I was eventually charged with identity theft, witness tampering, and third-degree harassment, and a protective order was instituted. I was later charged with numerous contempt charges for the simple act of tweeting that this prejudiced public official is actively harming the Iowa City queer community. Last month, after pleading guilty to witness tampering, I received a 6-month suspended sentence. I believe that deferred judgment would have been given to me had the victim in my case not been a police officer. At the sentencing hearing, most of the claims made by UIPD referred to things I was not charged for. I will admit that some of the things I have said or tweeted have been in poor taste, but I have never said or done anything related to this case which would leave a reasonable person to fear for their safety or that of their family. The reason I'm here tonight is to reiterate my comments from last April. Bigoted officers, such as those at UIPD, are targeting your most vulnerable residents. However, the majority of elected officials in this county, who some of the people on this council I think are a part of that, have refused to condemn UIPD or the county attorney, who has been vocal in supporting the most prejudiced officers at the agency. The city of Iowa City has not only allowed this to happen, but is actively involved in silencing critics of UIPD, such as myself. Your officers are probably going to try to charge me with contempt for making these comments, which would then cause my probation to be revoked and send me to jail for 6 months. I don't believe that people should be thrown into jail for criticizing the government, be that in the form of a satirical Twitter account or in the public comments at a city council meeting. Your citizens need you to stand up for them and just stand up to UIPD, because there are lots of bad things happening in this community. And it's a really dark time nationally, statewide, and locally. So just please do what's right. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else would like to comment? Okay.
Hello, Council. My name is Kevin Perez. I will not be available in 2 weeks, so I wanted to speak on 21 South Lynn Street. What I really want to say, first of all, is only one proposal was put in on time, and that's the Grand Rail project. Another problem, another skyscraper in town is not very good. I believe that as I stand here right now, both the Chauncey and Tower Plazas are both being foreclosed on by Green State Bank. Hasn't been in the papers, but it's on Iowa Courts online. So 2 of the 3 large buildings in downtown Iowa City are in foreclosure. It's probably not a very good precedent since they got millions of dollars in TIF money. The Grand Rail project is not asking for any TIF money, so I don't believe that they want to pay more for the property. What I want to say, there's like a $12 to $13 million difference or more between the Grand Rail project and Iceberg or whatever, Salida Iceberg, which, and they came in late, which you set the rules up, and then all of a sudden they put a proposal in a couple days after one gets kicked out. Doesn't seem very fair, breaking the rules like that. Let me see, what else I want. The fact that Grand Rail wants to use a lot of, their emphasis was on local architects, local builders, local developers. It seems like a much, much better project. The size of the, if you look around at the sizes of buildings around there, it fits right in. It's really well thought out. It's just a much, much better project. And I don't know if right now is the time to be loaning people, tens of millions of dollars at this time in our economics. It just doesn't seem right. So thank you for that, but I just want to emphasize how much better that project is and how much more sense it makes since 2 of the 3 high rises that we have are in foreclosure. And that's, and the other thing I think about high rises, it's really elite, it's kind of elitism that doesn't really fit into the vibe of Iowa City. Being on the top floor with your penthouse, and it doesn't really work. So clearly, because 2 of the 3 buildings are in foreclosure. Thank you.
Thank you. Any another comment? Okay, now I'm gonna go and close the public comment. Go to the hammer. Okay. Item 9, planning and zoning matter. Rezoning north of Melrose Avenue and east of Camp Cardinal Boulevard. An ordinance conditionally rezoning approximately 7.2 acres of property located north of Melrose and east of Camp Cardinal Boulevard from interim development single-family residential zone to mixed-use zone. And our city attorney will be recusing himself from this item, and we will be joined by his assistants, Sue Dulac. And now I will open the public hearing. And we will start with comment from the staff, followed by the council questions for now.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem and council members. Ann Russett, Senior Planner. Here's an aerial of the subject property. It's located along 2 arterial streets near Highway 218. To the north is St. Andrew Presbyterian Church. To the northwest is some multifamily residential, and to the east is some existing single family. Here's the zoning map. The surrounding properties are a mix of single family and multifamily zoning, and the subject property is currently for sale, and the owners have expressed an interest in rezoning to provide more clarity and certainty to future buyers regarding development potential. The applicant is requesting that the property be rezoned to mixed use, which allows both a mix of residential and non-residential uses. The zone does not allow more intense non-residential uses such as bars, gas stations, and industrial uses. There are 2 criteria used to review rezonings. The first is consistency with the comprehensive plan, and the second is compatibility with the existing neighborhood. In regards to consistency with the comprehensive plan, in 2016, the future land use map of the comprehensive plan was amended for this subject property, and it changed the land use designation from 2 to 8 dwelling units per acre to office commercial. In this resolution for this amendment, there was a whereas statement that noted that this site would be appropriate for a commercial office or CO1 zone, as it would provide a transition between lower intensity residential uses and more intense uses. Due to the similarities between the CO1 and MU zones, staff finds that the proposed mixed-use zone aligns with the intent of the comprehensive plan. The comprehensive plan also includes a number of goals and strategies that support the rezoning, including encouraging compact and contiguous development, supporting infill development, and encouraging a diversity of housing types. In terms of neighborhood compatibility, the surrounding properties are a mix of both single-family, multifamily, and institutional land uses, such as the religious institution to the north. The property is located at the intersection of 2 major streets and is very close to Highway 218. There's also a 30-foot pipeline easement that runs on the eastern portion of the property that acts as a natural buffer between any new development and the existing single-family to the east. And lastly, the mixed-use site development standards that would be applied to any development on this property would regulate things such as surface parking, screening, and lighting. And here's a map that was provided by the applicant. I just wanted to show, here's the location of that 30-foot pipeline easement on the eastern portion of the property. The Planning and Zoning Commission is recommending one condition for this rezoning related to transportation, and that is that the owner needs to reconstruct the median on Camp Cardinal Boulevard to allow access to the site and also construct a dedicated left turn lane on Camp Cardinal Boulevard. In terms of next steps, we're at the rezoning stage right now. If the property owner decides to move forward with the subdivision, that would also come before council. Any development at a minimum would require a final sensitive areas development plan and a site plan and a building permit, which would be reviewed by staff. The applicant did hold a good neighbor meeting on January 23rd, and based on review of the relevant general criteria, staff recommended approval of the proposed rezoning with one condition. At its February 19th, 2025 meeting by a vote of 5-0, the Planning and Zoning Commission concurred with staff's opinion and recommended approval with the staff recommended condition, which is noted here on the slide, that the owner would need to reconstruct the median to allow access to the site. And the conditional zoning agreement has been signed. That concludes my presentation. I'll turn it back to Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Ann. Any question for Ann?
One question about the site, actually, can you go, I'm curious about the turn lane access to the site and the pipeline. How is that all happening at the same spot in the same time? Like you just put a road right on top of that's the access to the site, right? It seems to be landlocked to the north and to the east by other properties.
So access is from Camp Cardinal Boulevard. So any access to this site would be probably in
anywhere there.
Yeah.
And then the second question is, I guess, more procedural, and that would be, looks like there's a lot of topography on the site. Can you remind me what the rules are for when sensitive areas reviews come back to council?
If they are only reviewed by council if it triggers a level 2 review. If it's a level 2 review, it requires an OPD rezoning. So in this case, they've just asked for a rezoning to MU, which doesn't trigger a sensitive areas review. They would be required to prepare an exhibit as part of their site plan, though.
Okay, if they wanted, because there's just so much hill, it seems like there's a lot of hillside there, and we might see this again with with an actual proposal.
Potentially.
Yeah, okay, thanks.
Another question?
And this is right now, the owners just want to make this more attractive to potential developers, correct? There is no one in the wings?
Yes.
That means there's no like proposals. Okay. What kind of pipeline is it? Do you know?
I think it's a gas pipeline.
A gas pipeline.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just following up on that, Anne, you mentioned the woodlands, I think, on the far eastern edge, and then the pipeline easement there. Is it safe to assume that nothing east of the pipeline could be developed on this site?
That's what I would anticipate happening, because I haven't read the easement agreement for the pipeline, but there's probably no development activity that would be allowed within that area. Certainly no buildings, probably no paving as well. So and this is something maybe the applicant can address as well. We anticipate all of the development activity to occur in kind of the flat area that is away from these areas here that you see in green, and definitely away from the pipeline.
Thank you.
Any other question to Ann? Okay, I'm just want to ask if the applicant is here and would like to do any comment on this. Yeah.
Hello, Mike Welch with Shoemaker and Holland. I worked with St. Andrew to prepare the rezoning application, and can kind of, I guess, start by just touching on a couple of the questions that were asked. The pipeline is a petroleum pipeline. It's owned by one OK, so One Oklahoma. They do periodically will come through every couple of years and clear any brush and trees from their pipeline easement. But yeah, anything east of that pipeline, we don't anticipate being able to develop just because of that pipeline being there. Josh, to your question about sensitive areas and slopes, we did look at that with the owner to see what was there. In the areas that are wooded and the areas that have the regulated and steep slopes, they are off on those edges, and to our way of looking at it, there's just not a lot of potential to actually develop in those areas. So that's kind of how we went forward with just a non-OPD rezoning to get to that spot. And if anyone has any other questions, I'd be happy to try to answer them.
Okay. Now we will open it to the public discussion. If someone here would like to address this matter, you can come forward, or if you are online, please raise your hand. I see none in person and no one in public and online, I mean. I just would like to ask, before I close the public hearing, I would like to ask the council if they are inclined to vote with the planning and zoning. Okay, close the public hearing. And now I would like to get first consideration for this item. May I have a motion for first consideration?
So moved, Mo.
Second, Alter.
Moved by Mo, second by Alter. Council discussion? Roll call, please.
Burgess,
Yes.
Harmson,
Yes.
Mo,
Yes.
Silly,
Yes.
Teague, Wyland,
Yes.
Alter.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0. Okay. Wait a minute for. hold on. Okay, item number 9B, rezoning of North Governor Street. An orders conditionally rezoning approximately 5.49 acres of property located between North Dutch and North Governor Street from medium-density single-family residential zone to high-density single-family residential zone, medium-density multifamily residential zone, and multifamily residential zone to high-density single-family residential zone with a planned development overlay for approximately 0.17 acres, and to medium-density multifamily residential zone with a planned development overlay for approximately 5.32 acres. And I will open the public hearing. Now, I will turn it to our city attorney.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Some updates for the benefit of council and for the members of the public. There has been a valid protest petition filed, thus requiring a supermajority of the city council in order for this rezoning to pass. That means 6 votes. That means 6 votes regardless of whether there are only 6 of you present tonight or if there are 7 present. Furthermore, the developer, as a result of the absence of Mayor Teague, has requested that this matter be deferred to the 15th. If council is inclined to do so, I would encourage council to do that now as opposed to accepting either the staff's presentation or the public comment, none of which would be heard by the mayor.
What council think?
I would make a motion to defer until April 15th.
And I would second that.
I think so. I need the motion to be continue the public hearing and defer the first consideration to April 15. So that's a
correct.
motion. And we have the second?
Yes.
Moved by Josh, I think, moved by Mo and second by.
Yeah, by Harmson, seconded by Mo.
Second by Mo. Okay, and I continue the public hearing. I think we don't do anything
Well,
else.
we need to vote on the motion,
Okay.
which can just be a voice vote.
Yeah, can I have a voice vote for the motion?
Aye.
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 Okay, I think we close, that's it. We don't do anything else.
That's it. Again, the public hearing remains open and will be continued on the 15th.
Yes, we're going to have this item back on the 15th. Now we go to the regular agenda item number 10A, Building Codes Update. An ordinance amending Title 17, Chapter 1, Building Code by adopting the International Building Code 2024 edition, including Appendix K and the International Residential Code 2024 edition, including Appendix BE and Appendix BO, and providing for certain amendments thereof, and adopting Section 103.61A of the Code of Iowa, the State Electrical Code, and Section 105.4, 1A of the Code of Iowa, the State Plumbing and Mechanical Codes, to provide for the protection of the health, welfare, and safety of the residents of Iowa City, Iowa. And this is our second consideration. And the staff is requesting expedited action on this.
I move that the rule requiring that ordinances must be considered and voted on for passage at 2 council meetings prior to the meeting at which it is to be finally passed and suspended, that the second consideration and vote be waived, and that the ordinance be voted on for final passage at this time.
Need a second?
Second.
Okay, moved by Wyline and second by Burgess. Public discussion? Council discussion? Roll call, please.
Harmson,
Yes.
Mo.
Yes.
Salah,
Yes.
Wyline,
Yes.
Alter,
Yes.
Burgess.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0. And now motion to adopt and pass and adopt this. May I have a motion?
So moved, Mo.
Moved by Mo,
Second, Burgess.
second by Burgess. Roll call, please.
Mo.
Yes.
Salah,
Yes.
Wyline,
Yes.
Alter,
Yes.
Burgess.
Yes.
Harmson.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0. And 10B, Fire Code Update. An ordinance amending Title 7, Chapter 1, Fire Preventions and Protection by adopting the 2024 edition of the International Fire Code to regulate and govern the safeguarding of life and property from fire, explosion, life safety risk, or health hazard. And this is also a second consideration, but the staff is requesting expedited action.
I move that the rule requiring that ordinances must be considered and voted on for passage at two city council meetings prior to the meeting, at which point it is to be finally passed, be suspended. That the second consideration and vote be waived, and that the ordinance be voted on for final passage at this time.
Second.
Second.
Moved by Wyline and second by Mo. Public discussion. Council discussion. Roll call, please.
Salah,
Yes.
Wyline,
Yes.
Alter,
Yes.
Burgess.
Yes.
Harmson.
Yes.
Mo.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0. And now I would like a motion to pass and adopt.
So moved, Mo.
Moved by Mo,
Second, Burgess.
second by Burgess. Roll call, please.
Wyline,
Yes.
Alter,
Yes.
Burgess.
Yes.
Harmson.
Yes.
Mo.
Yes.
Salah.
Yes. Motion passes 6-0. Item 10C, parking for people with physical disability. Ordinance amended Title 9 entitled Motor Vehicles and Traffic, Chapter 4 entitled Parking Regulation, Section 11 entitled Parking for People with Physical Disability to define the required access as a part of the parking space. This is also a second consideration. The staff is requesting expedited actions.
I move that the rule requiring that ordinances must be considered and voted on for passage at two council meetings prior to the meeting at which it is to be finally passed and be suspended, that the second consideration and vote be waived, and that the ordinance be voted on for final passage at this time.
May I have a second?
Second.
Okay, moved by Wyline and second by Alter. Public discussion. Council discussion. Roll call, please.
Alter,
Yes.
Burgess.
Yes.
Harmson.
Yes.
Mo.
Yes.
Salah.
Yes.
Wyline.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0. May I have a motion to pass and adopt?
So moved, Mo.
Second,
Bye.
Burgess.
Moved by Mo, second by Burgess. Roll calls, please.
Burgess.
Yes.
Harmson.
Yes.
Mo.
Yes.
Salah.
Yes.
Wyline.
Yes.
Alter.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0. Item 11, Council Committee and Appointment. 11A, Graduate and Professional Student Government Organization, and this item had been deferred from January 7, and we would like to appoint somebody to the council, to become a council resign to the Graduate and Professional Student Government, and this is used to be held, I think Andrew Dunn was one that, so.
I volunteer.
All right, then you made it easy. And this is a voice vote, or how is this going to be?
It is. I think the city manager wanted to address a broader related topic.
Sure.
Just while we're on this item, former Councilor Dunn also had two other appointments that you previously reassigned to keep those activities moving. I believe it was the Rules Committee and the Economic Development Commission. So I just want to check with council if you're content with the appointments as they stand after this, because everything will be filled, or if at a future meeting you want to look at a reassignment now that we have Councilor Wyline here with us. So staff can put it on a future agenda, or we can wait till January and do it at that time.
I think that's up to you.
I mean, I want to carry my weight. So if other people are on a bunch of these committees and I'm only on one, I would gladly take on more.
I think I can give up my seat for the economic development. Do you want to take that?
Okay.
All right.
That'll have to be at a future meeting, just to be
Yeah,
clear.
sure.
But, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
We do have a meeting coming up.
Then we have to go and do it, right?
So I get my calendar open. Do we precede the meeting for that appointment?
We would have to go with the staff that's present, but we have not noticed up the assignment of, or reassignment of the Economic Development Committee.
Because it was the Economic Development Committee and the Rule Committee. That's the only two doesn't have to be all of them, but we can just talk about this next meeting, right?
We can place all the appointments on the next meeting, is that right, Kelly? And you can decide if you want to keep them as is or trade or shuffle, but we'll notice them all up for the next meeting if that's
Okay.
what I'm understanding.
Sound good?
Okay.
Okay.
We'll need a, excuse me, a motion, a second, and a vote to assign Councilor Wyline for the council liaison to the graduate and professional student government.
Okay.
I move to appoint Councilor Wyline to said position.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion carried. So you are now the appointed person. Okay, item number 12, council appointment. 12A, Civil Service Commission. Civil Service Commission, when vacants to fill a 4-year terms from April 7, 2025 to April 1st, 2029. And council discussion on this.
Seems like two very qualified applicants. It sort of jumped out at me right away.
I was going to ask, as a reminder and perhaps an overview, that the Board of Appeals, the role that they perform, if somebody wants to remind me.
The Civil Service
The
Commission.
Civil Service Commission.
Oh, my
I
God.
was like, what's
The one we're talking about, yes.
The Civil
Right.
Service Commission, yeah.
Sorry, I was reading one thing and said the other. Yeah, just to get an
You-
overview.
Or you want
Just a
somebody to
quick-
talk about
just a
what they
quick
do?
description of
Yes.
it, yeah.
Oh, you'd like a description of the Civil
Yes.
Service Commission? Sure. So they do several things. They approve the hiring process for civil service employees, and by that I mean testing procedures for firefighters and police officers, for example. They ultimately approve the hiring list for those and other civil service positions from whom or from which the hiring supervisor selects their employee or candidates. And they listen to and adjudicate appeals of disciplinary matters up to and including termination. Those are I think, the biggest things.
Good. Okay, any person to be,
They're both remarkable. I noticed that, Melissa has been on the commission in the past, is currently on Citizens Review Police Board, and is looking to continue on, which is really admirable. Eleanor is not currently on any boards, so I'm sort of thinking maybe we incorporate somebody else who's remarkable in one of our commissions. So I would nominate Eleanor, but also think both would be remarkable.
mhm.
I did support that.
Eleanor?
Odds.
May I have a motion to appoint Eleanor?
I move that Eleanor be appointed to the position on the Civil Service Commission.
Okay, moved by Mo, second by Hanson, and all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 6-0. We'll go to 12B, Community Police Review Board. Community Police Review Board, one vacancy to fill an unexpired term upon appointment, June 30th, 2026. So, council discussion. Do you have anyone?
I have two thoughts. One is I think that all three good candidates. I think I was particularly impressed with both Maureen Braddock and Mary McCann's, particularly. A second issue, and maybe this is, I know this will come up for a different reason in the next appointment, but as I've been following stuff in Des Moines, there was a bill that was still active that would take away our CPRB. So I'm wondering how the rest of the council feels about, do we appoint somebody now knowing that it might be a 1 or 2 month appointment? Do we wait, or do we just go ahead and do it? I don't have a strong feeling one way or the other, but I think it's worth being intentional. So what's the rest of the council have a feeling on this?
I think that because it's a small gesture, hopefully not a gesture, hopefully this doesn't go through at the state, but I think that to go ahead with business as usual, and we have an unfilled position, and to fill it as soon as possible, and we have qualified candidates, we should do it.
Okay. As long as the people understand, like, if they know, then
Absolutely.
I'm satisfied, right?
Absolutely.
That's a good point, but yeah, I think
Yes? Okay.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree, and I personally have been trying to keep up with this legislation, and I don't know, I can't get it like a temperature on like the strength it has. I know that it passed pretty.
Out of committee, I believe.
It passed the Senate too, so by a lot. So I feel like there's a good chance that we're going to see it happen. But if that happens, it's better to prepare as if it's not going to. I think.
Sure. Yeah, that's fine.
Sure.
I like Maureen Braddock.
Maria? Okay, any support from beside Laura? Everyone? Okay, may I have a motion to appoint?
So moved.
Moved by Alter,
Second? Oh,
second by Mo. And all in favor, say aye.
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 Motion passes 6-0. Housing and Community Development, item 12C. Commission. Housing and Community Development Commission, 2 vacancies to fill unexpired term of unappointed, June 30th, 2026. So I think everybody saw the memo from the commission requesting deferral of this item. And I believe they have good reasoning. What do you guys think for deferring? So
Go ahead, please.
I was going to say, yes, I read the memo, and I'm inclined to say let's go with what they're recommending. I guess procedurally, is it a motion that we can make at this moment to make that change?
Yeah, I would, yes, I would suggest you make a motion to defer. I would not do it to April 15th, because you're going to need to have time to have the Rules Committee be able to address whether there will be a change in the bylaws. The Rules Committee needs to approve those. For the benefit of the public, the request from HCDC was to move from, I want to say 9 members to 7, right? Yeah, 9 members to 7. They're down 2 members now, so if we don't appoint, if that were to go through, they wouldn't need any appointments. So I'd have to look to see what the dates are in May. Do you have a recommendation?
Well, the commission's going to discuss this at their April 21st meeting. So if we need to work the Rules Committee in, I would suggest the second meeting in May might be the best time for deferral, which.
Do you know what date that is?
That would be the 20th, May 20th.
So we're looking for a motion to defer to May 20th. I move that we defer till May 20th.
moved by Mo, second by Wyland. Okay, and all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 6-0. All right, item number 13, announcement of vacancies, NEO.
I'm sorry, Mayor Pro Tem, before we move on, we'd like to have a motion to accept correspondence
Okay.
on that topic.
Motion to accept correspondence.
So moved.
Second?
In favor?
Aye.
You say that?
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0. Okay, item number
Josh
13.
moved. I seconded.
Yeah, do we have the vote? I'm sorry, that's the part I missed. Did you say, I'm sorry, I missed the vote. Did you say all in favor and we had an oral
Yes,
vote? Okay,
all in
great.
favor,
Sorry.
yeah, we said that.
I don't know what's going on down here. Yeah.
We did everything.
Josh
We said
is just holding his own vote. Yeah, okay.
Okay. Item 13, announcement of vacancies, NEO. 13A, announcement of vacancies, NEO Airport Commission, 1 vacancy to fill a 4-year term, July 1st, 2025 to June 30th, 2029. Community Police Review Board, 2 vacancies to fill 4-year term, July 1st, 2025 to June 30th, 2029. Historic Preservation Commissions at large, one vacant to fill a 3-year term, July 1st, 2025 to June 30th, 2028. Historic Preservation Commission, Brown Street, one vacant to fill a 3-year term, July 1st, 2025 to June 30th, 2028. Historic Preservation Commission, Jefferson Street, one vacant to fill a 3-year term, July 1st, 2025 to June 30th, 2028. And Historic Preservation Commission, Summit Street, one vacant to fill a 3-year term, July 1st, 2025 to June 30th, 2028. Housing and Community Development Commission. Do we do that too?
I'm sorry.
For the Housing and Community Development Commission, we still advertise this?
Yes, we should go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Housing and Community Development Commission, 2 vacancies to fill 3-year term, July 1st, 2025 to June 30th, 2028. Library Board of Trustees, 3 vacancies to fill 6-year term, July 1st, 2025 to June 30th, 2031. Planning and Zoning Commission, 2 vacancies to fill 5-year term, July 1st, 2025 to June 30th, 2030. Application must be received by 5 p.m. Tuesday, May 13, 2025. Item 14, announcement of vacancies previous. 14A, announcement of vacancies previous Airport Zone Board of Adjustment. 1 vacancy to fill a 5-year term from June 1st, 2024 to December 31st, 2028. Airport Zoning Commission, 1 vacancy to fill a 6-year term from June 1st, 2024 to December 31st, 2029. Board of Appeal, HVAC professional, 1 vacancy to fill an unexpired term upon appointed from December 31st, 2028. Historic Preservation Commission, Jefferson Street, 1 vacancy to fill a 3-year term, July 1st, 2022 to June 30th, 2025. Historic Preservation Commission, Woodlawn Avenue, 1 vacancy to fill a 3-year term from 1/2024 to June, from July 1st, 2024 to June 30th, 2022. And all these vacancies will remain open until filled. Now, item number 15, City Council information. Any council member want to report a meeting attended or upcoming meeting, community event, or any item of interest at this time?
I'll just mention several of us had the opportunity yesterday to attend the Trans Day of Visibility events at College Green Park. Very impactful, very moving. Some incredible courage in speaking out from some of our trans members of our community, and was really impressed by the organization of that event and the way in which it really, I think, spoke to the moment that we're in of trans individuals having their civil rights rolled back at the state level. And I just commend Mandy Remington and the Corridor Community Action Network for their work in pulling that event together. And I think it was very meaningful for those who were able to be there and hear the messages of that evening. And thank you, Iowa City, for making sure the power was on in the park last night. But yeah, thank you.
Any other announcement or meeting that you attended?
Councilor Wineland, you had asked for the opportunity to speak to one of those items. This would be the appropriate time.
Yeah, so it was regarding on the consent agenda 6C for the protective doors on the buses. I had a chance to hear a variety of different kind of like perspectives and concerns from lots of different people who do work in our transit, specifically bus drivers. And this is something that's, I just wanted to point out that this is something that, especially since we had a pretty serious assault a few years back, that they've been asking for this for quite a while. And I'm just really happy that we're seeing the funding for it. And would just also want to point out, like, we're all very concerned about transit or the safety of our staff. And a cool bus fact that I learned recently is that the number one way to reduce violence against transit workers is fare-free transit. So I think just moving forward, really keeping in mind that, you know, we're concerned about safety, but it's not even just a way to ensure access for people to transit, but it's a way to keep our bus drivers and other transit workers safe. So that's what I wanted to say. Yeah.
Good point. Any other council would like to report? Okay, move to item 16, a report from the city staff. We start with the city manager office.
No report tonight, just an official welcome to Councilor Wyline. Look forward to working with you.
And city attorney.
I joined the city manager in welcoming Councilor Wyline.
Thank you.
I'm going to guess what the city clerk has to say.
Ditto, and you'll probably get a lot of emails from me, so.
All right. Now, we are in the last item. Who would like to put a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Moved by Alter.
Second.
Second by, we're going to give it to Wyline. Yeah. So, all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Same sign. Okay. We adjourned.
Thank you.